Hello there! My name is Alice and I am so excited to be working with Daler-Rowney today to show you some different mixed media techniques and how you can create some really cool artwork. So my name is Alice, as I said. I'm a mixed media artist and I've worked with Daler-Rowney before using some of their inks. I created this image for their Aquafine line, which is their watercolor inks. This is what I created for their FW acrylic inks, and as you can see, there's some beautiful metallics here. So pretty! And the System 3 acrylic inks are really cool because, as you can see, they are able to be used on so many different types of surfaces, so I did this on wood. Today I am going to be combining all three of those different inks and using some of my own mixed media techniques to create this piece. So this is the piece that I created using mixed media with the Daler-Rowney inks, and I am so proud of it. It's inspired by the song Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo. If you've heard that, then you get the inspiration. But I thought it would be a really interesting way to play with some of the supplies that I got from Daler-Rowney, especially these neon paints. So I'm gonna go over the supplies that I used, and then I'll jump into some techniques, and then I'll show you the final process of the painting. So speaking of the paints, like I said, there are neons. I got very excited about the neons. So the two neons that I'm going to be using are from the FW line. They are fluorescent pink and fluorescent blue. This fluorescent pink, oh, I love it. I have been using it everywhere in everything. I'm obsessed with it. I've already gone through half of the bottle. So I'm going to be using these. And then in addition to these two neons, which are going to make up like the bulk of my ink, especially this guy does some heavy lifting. I'm gonna dip into a few other FW acrylic inks, and I'm gonna be using Process Magenta, Rowney Blue, Turquoise, and a few other colors. I'm also going to be using Aquafine inks. I'm gonna be using these in the underpainting to establish the kind of like colors and tones. And the Aquafine inks, as I mentioned, are watercolor inks, and I'm gonna be using Quinacridone Magenta and Cerulean Hue. I'm also going to be incorporating System 3 inks. These two are really bright colors and work perfectly. And the System 3 acrylic white is really, really opaque. These are all super, super opaque acrylic inks, and they have a different finish. They're a little bit shinier than the other ones. I'm also going to be using the System 3 silver acrylic ink. This thing is really, really shiny and pretty. Of course, since you're painting on something, you're going to need a surface. So for this particular picture, I painted it on the mixed media paper, the vellum surface. It's heavyweight, 184 pounds, and it's for wet and dry media. But something else that would also work really, really well is their watercolor paper. And because these are acrylic that we're going to be working with primarily, you could also paint on wood. But I actually have this wood board here for a different reason. I used the wood board, I painted it with this System 3 silver, and that's actually what I mounted the painting to once the painting was finished. If you want to mount your painting like I did, you just need some kind of decoupage glue. That's all I put on the back, and it worked out great. You're also going to need some brushes. I have a variety of brushes here because I prefer some for some media and others for others. So for watercolor, I really like the Princeton Neptune line as well as the Princeton Velvet Touch line. Those ones are so good. I really, really enjoy them. They hold a lot of water and they are really great for watercolor in general. The Velvet Touch line you can also use with acrylic, I believe. So these are great for mixed media because you can kind of go back and forth between them. For the majority of the acrylic work, these are what I used. These are the Princeton Select. I really loved the angular shaders. I found those to be really useful. I'm also a big fan of small flat brushes when I'm shading, and I also had quite a few little rounds as well that I could use. So there was quite a variety of brushes here as well. Other supplies that might come in handy for you are some kind of water dropper, paper towels, a spray bottle of some kind, and you probably want some kind of mixing palette. I just poured my inks into these that I got at my local art store, and they have like little mixing wells, but I was also able to use the actual packaging that the inks came with as little palettes as well. So, you know, use what you got. The last supply that I used was very helpful for mixed media, and that is a matte medium. I just coated the entire painting with this matte medium at the end. This is a clear matte medium, of course, and the reason that I did that is because I used a variety of different inks with different finishes. Some were glossier and some were matter, and that helped everything get a smooth and even consistent finish. If I was going to add metallic, I would have done this before I added any metallic detail, but the only metallic that I have on the piece is that back wood section. So those are all the supplies that I used. That is who I am, and let's go and learn some techniques about how to use these different inks and how to mix them together, and why you might want to use different types of inks instead of just, one. I'll see you in the next video.